The adult-only cruise line Virgin Voyages is giving you an exclusive opportunity to live on board one of their cruise ships for a full month. Today we will go over the full details of the promotion, whether it's worth the $10,000 price tag they are offering to live on board the cruise ship, and what I personally think Virgin Voyages is trying to somewhat set up for the long term in the future. Starting in the first or second week of June here in 2024, continuing on through the end of September, which is summertime, aka one of the peak seasons for cruising, for $10,000 a month for two people, you can stay on board Scarlet Lady, which is Virgin Voyage's first ship ever built, as it sails through the Mediterranean, southern Europe, meaning you'd go to places over in France like Cannes, over in Spain, you'd go to Barcelona and Ibiza, and over in Italy, you'd stop in places like Rome for a full month. While on board, you will be staying in a mid-tier sea terrace balcony cabin, which is a very technologically advanced room, complete with a rainfall shower. You'd also have free laundry services available to you. You'd have $10 a day to use for coffee or things of that nature. You'd have all the restaurants available to you, which comes standard for any passenger staying on board any Virgin Voyages ship, as they are a premium line. You'd also have the best Wi-Fi available to you in Starlink, which they have installed on board this ship, the Scarlet Lady. On top of all this, you'd have access to the members-only sun deck, Richard's Rooftop, which is normally exclusive only to the Rockstar Suites guests. However, you can go up there as much as you'd like. You'd also have early embarkation, early boarding, and the opportunity at some excursions. Now, this opportunity is primarily targeting people that work remote, people that can either work from home or virtually anywhere instead of an office. At this point in time, Virgin Voyages has 40 passes available for the 4 months, from June through September, basically rounding out to about 10 passes a month. However, according to them, due to high demand of the passes, they are looking to increase those deals that are available right now. So now that the details and marketing points are out of the way, let's look at this from a realistic perspective. Over the years, since Virgin Voyage's inception, they have somewhat dubbed themselves the Game Changer Cruise Line, and I can argue this promotion, this opportunity, is somewhat revolutionary. Over the years, we have seen things like 9-month world cruises, and I want to say during the pandemic, we started seeing the announcement for residencies at sea, where you have cruise ships that are being basically turned into condos or something of that nature, and well, people can purchase those condos and eventually live on the cruise ship. It seems like Virgin Voyages potentially took a page out of that book, as they saw that some of the longer cruises may or may not be working as planned. There's been some issues here and there, but if you're going to try to target, let's say, a younger crowd or some remote workers that have disposable income that want to maybe live on a cruise ship or be able to travel the world and have some place to stay for a month at a decent deal of a price, then well, they can have that available to them. Looking at the price, if you were to go on Virgin Voyage's official website right now and book a cruise on the Scarlet Lady in the Sea Terrace between the months of June through September going to the Mediterranean, it set you back about $2,900, $3,000 or so. Now, if you want to stay for the month, you're talking about $12,000. Do keep in mind this is before port fees and taxes. You also wouldn't be getting those other incentives like the access to the members-only sun deck, Richard's Rooftop. You wouldn't get that $10 for coffee. You also wouldn't get free laundry. So roughly, you'd be saving, if you were to take that deal, about $2,000 or so. Personally, I believe if you have the funds, the money available, you have the time available, and you really like Virgin Voyages, $10,000 for two people is not a bad deal at all. You also have to take into consideration how Virgin Voyages operates when it comes to the destinations, the islands, and the ports of call. They usually stay pretty long, being that they are a premium line, and if I remember correctly, over in places like Cannes, France, and Ibiza, they are also overnight. So let's say you want to take a day off and get off of the ship, go book a hotel or an Airbnb, you also have that available to you, give you a little break from being on the ship for a full month. Looking at the potential downsides, in my opinion, there isn't much. It does more so come down to personal preference. Being on board a cruise ship for a month straight, 4 weeks, can get pretty repetitive. And I say this as somebody that has lived on a cruise ship for up to 6 months. How many Scarlet Nights can you actually deal with? Personally, for me, I do love Scarlet Nights. It's a great event on board the ship. The 20 eateries that are on board, yes, you can indulge in them, but the food might get pretty repetitive to the point where, yes, you'd only be eating out in port when you have it available to you. There is also the opportunity to potentially pay less money. Let's say you don't want a sea terrace balcony, you can get an ocean view, at least from what I saw online, for about $2,000, meaning you can get maybe the equivalent or maybe save a little bit of money being there. And also, as somebody that spends a lot of time over in Europe, specifically Southern Europe, like France, Italy, and Spain, there are ways to wheel and deal for that same budget that you have for $10,000 to stay on board. You can kind of float around as you wish in those potential areas. But if you want some place to kind of lay your head down and hang out, Obviously, being on Scarlet Lady for a full month, and like I said, if you have the money available, it is a really good deal that's hard to look away from. Now, if I had to be honest with all of you, I was wondering why Virgin would be doing this. It's a real head scratcher. Well, not so much. If you look at it from, let's say, a profitable standpoint, they do understand that there is a demographic out there now that works remotely, has the money, and likes cruising, so it could be a good opportunity for them and everybody around. However, as somebody that has sailed on all of their operating cruise ships, all of their itineraries on multiple occasions, I do really like Virgin Voyages. One thing that I have noticed is that Virgin Voyages, since they still are a new cruise line, working out all the kinks and trying to bring in a legitimate crowd of people that love them and, let's say, to be honest, only want to sail with them, is kind of far and in between. Every time I've sailed on Virgin Voyages, many of you know I'm a very social guy, and it seems to me that primarily the passengers that are on board are not typically normal paying passengers. They are usually travel agents, or they are people that work with one of Virgin's many companies. Maybe they were Virgin Atlantic, maybe Virgin Galactic, maybe Virgin's hotels, and they got somewhat of a discount to some degree. You may or may not have also heard that there are rumors floating about that Virgin Voyages isn't doing too well financially, and that the company that really owns them, the investment group Bain Capital, has put them up for sale. There could be the idea entertained that Virgin is trying whatever they can to bring in some additional revenue and get some new trend going to the point to where they are able to profit off of it. The goal in competitive business is to always try to innovate, stay ahead of the game, and at the bare minimum know what's going on. They know that there are a lot of younger people with disposable income that are trying to work remotely instead of going to your typical Thailands and living in Mexico. Maybe some people want to live on a cruise ship where they can go to multiple destinations for a month and then either stay on board, enjoy their time there, and sail off to their next adventure, or potentially stay even longer. I do believe that Virgin is counting on this being very successful, and if it is, I do believe they could have this opportunity for passengers to stay on board, let's say on a month-by-month basis, long-term into the future, which will give them additional consistent revenue so that they can keep on moving and do what they do best, which is sail cruises and give people an unforgettable experience, a fun time. However, that's just my theory on it. Let me know your thoughts on all this in the comment section below. Hit that like button on your way out. By the way, if you want to book a cruise with Virgin Voyages, or any cruise line for that matter, or even just a regular vacation, whether it be a resort or anything of that nature, make sure you check myself out, my travel agent sponsors, Lux Valley Travel. The link is in the description box below, as well as pinned in the comments. I appreciate all of you. I love all of you, and I'll see you later. Take it easy.